Hey, my name is gaiaathena and in this video I'm bringing you book reviews of 3 Dutch books. I'm still working my way through my library loans, and so I read 3 books and they're all by Dutch authors. So in this video I'm gonna talk about these 3 books. The first book is Test by Mirjam Mous, and there's a dot there that's actually part of the title. This book takes place on the English coast, and a teenage boy named Elvis, he lives in an English coast town there. The premise of this book is that Elvis, he has agreed to meet a girl, her name is Talisha, on the pier. When he gets out of his house and steps on the street, somebody presses a note into his hands that says, "This is a test. We have your father. Don't tell anyone." Or, yeah, in Dutch it says, otherwise you sign like his death. Basically, otherwise they'll kill the father, sort of thing. And things go on from there. This is quite a suspenseful book. It has thrillery aspects, it has mystery aspects. So Elvis has to do what the kidnappers say, while at the same time he's also trying to figure out who's behind this and figure out where his father is. I thought this was a pretty suspenseful book. I have read one book by the author before. That one was called 2C, or I guess in English 2C. I don't have it here right now. That's a book I actually own. This is a library loan. 2C was really a suspenseful book about like a school class that goes on a school trip, and then it turns out there's a bomb on the bus. And I have also read actually a couple of other books by her, a couple of children's books. But anyway, when I found this at the library, I wanted to borrow it. It sounded good. It was quite suspenseful. I wanted to keep on reading this to find out what was going on. The font is pretty big. It's got 284 pages. I quite like this. I didn't see a lot of twists coming. There was one scene in here that has to do with animal violence that I found really difficult to read. So warning for that if you also found that difficult to read. So I have to admit I skimmed through the last page of this scene because, yeah. But yeah, I thought this was a nice suspenseful read. It's really nice to read a thriller again. It's young adult. I will say in the beginning I questioned the choice because it's a Dutch book written by a Dutch author, but it takes place on the English coast. So in the beginning I found that a little bit, well, not weird or jarring, but it didn't bother me anymore after a while. But yeah, I don't know that if I compare the setting in this with the setting of one of the other books that I'm going to talk about, like after this one, that I will say the setting in here was not as much described, and I feel like it also could have taken place in Netherlands, if that makes sense. But it was also nice to read a Dutch book by a Dutch author where the money was like pounds, and well, there was like a fish and chip shop, and so it was nice. Oh, I don't even know what I'm saying. Sorry, I just finished the 3rd book of this lot, and yeah, I'm tired. What else is new? So yeah, this was enjoyable. It was a nice read. Now we get to Oog om Oog by Tegenbosch. This is my favorite book out of these 3. I really like this. This book is about Jan Jaap, and he is a first-year student. He's just starting his 1st year. And in his childhood, he was bullied by another boy whose name was Ivar. And so Jan Jaap had a bit of a difficult childhood because he was bullied. He didn't have any friends during this specific time. And so when he's going to study, I don't know whether to call it college or university, because in Dutch it's HBO, and I'm not sure which of those two. But either way, so after his high school, he's gonna study psychology, and he wants to do things differently this time, so he's gonna try and make friends. And he also sort of wants to get his revenge on this person from his childhood. Now, I really liked this book. This had such great characters. They felt really real, you know. I also really liked the location. Yeah, a specific location in the book, let's put it that way. It's kind of maybe a spoiler to tell you, explain to you, but yeah, anyway, I thought that sounded really nice. There was also one bit in here where there was sort of violence against animals, but off the page, like it was mentioned, but you didn't see the action, if that makes sense. There are various different themes in here. There's also like mental illness. Yeah, I found the plot really interesting. The twists. The beginning has sort of a contemporary fiction feel, and like the latter part of the book has more of a thrillery aspect. So here the library says it's got this thriller icon. Now that I feel in the beginning of the book it feels more like a contemporary fiction, but I wanted to keep on reading. I read this book in one day actually. It was so good. I basically spent the whole day reading this book. The characters were really good. The library class is as young adult. The main character is 18. However, I will say, because normally people say young adult is from like 15 to 18. I will say there is like mention of beer and other alcoholic drinks in this book. So, because obviously the main character is a first year student, and so those kind of things are mentioned in the book. So just know that if somebody really young wants to read this, that's in there. This was really good. Yeah, I realize I'm kind of repeating myself. So the book is told in short chapters from the main character's point of view, Janja, and in between these chapters we see bits of the past. So it starts with like chapter 1, which is a few pages, and then here it's printed in italic. Is that you call it italics? I don't know if you can see that really. So this is the normal text, and then here is a piece in italics, and that takes place in the past. So throughout the story you gradually get to find out what happened in the main character's past, and you want to keep on reading to find out like what happens. Some of the chapters end on a bit of a twist or something that makes you want to keep reading. This was a really good book. I don't know what more I can say about it. It was just, I loved everything. And then the third book I have, and that is Livestream by Tegenbosch. So the same author as this book. I saw both of them at the library, so I thought I'd borrow both. This book definitely has sort of more of a mystery thriller feel than the other book. It's also a lot shorter. Well, this is less than 200 pages. This book is about Rick. He lives in the Netherlands, and for his Christmas holidays he decides to go to New York and stay there for the duration of the holiday. He's going to stay with his grand cousin, is that the word? They mention it in the book. And so this whole book takes place, I'm not entirely sure, but it takes place over a relatively short amount of time, whereas this book was, yeah, quite a long time. This book takes place over like, I'm not sure if it's like 2 days or, but really short. So Rick flies to New York, and in the subway, what we in Dutch call metro, he meets this girl named Chris, and he likes her. And Chris has a plan, she wants to do something. Rick decides to join her, things go on from there. But actually the back also says, see, Chris disappears and Rick goes and tries to find her. That's basically what the book is about. Now this book was suspenseful and it made me want to keep reading. I quite liked the description of all the New York locations in this book. I know we have that of course in books, because I've read more books set in New York, usually by American authors, but I've also read books set in New York by British authors. This is a Dutch author, and I liked all the descriptions. It made you really feel like it took place there. That's that's kind of my point. What I was getting at with this book was that I didn't feel as much location in this, didn't feel as real as this one did. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I really thought it was really nice how New York was described in this book and the various locations, and yeah, I really liked that. Another thing I really liked about this book was that a character from this book was in this book, and I did not know that that was going to happen. So that was a big surprise for me, and I loved that. Because, you know, I really like the characters from this book. I will say the characters in this book, also because it's a little shorter, they're just not as much developed as in this book. Olaf really had some great characters. It had a lot of pages to have character development and all that. And this book is just shorter and it's a bit more about the action. So, I don't know, these characters didn't mean as much to me, if that makes sense. Like, they felt a bit less developed, I guess. But that's okay. I enjoyed this book as well. The interesting thing is that, let me put it this way, this book has a similar twist as another book I've read recently, and so it didn't shock me as much because of that. Because at some point this year I read another book that had a very similar twist. So, I mean, I didn't see it coming, but I mean, this happens, you know. So yeah, I liked this book. It was suspenseful, and I wanted to keep on reading. I also read this in one day. It's also because my library loans are due at some point, so I can't take too long. But in comparison to this book, which was so good, this book was also good, but not as good. If that makes sense. Like, but that also might be dependent on the mood I was in, or I really liked this. And so this was still good. I liked it. But like, this will be in my favorites of the month list, and this will be in pretty enjoyable, if that makes sense. Oh, and this one will also be in pretty enjoyable. So that is the 3 books that I wanted to talk to you about today. So yeah, I enjoyed these 3 books. I enjoyed this one a lot. This was really good. I enjoyed these other 2 as well. And yeah, I think that's all for this video. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope to see you in my next one. Bye!